Good day everyone, this is Dr. Manu. Today our video is about examination of heart. Here is our client, he is Mr. Dinesh, he is 18 years old. Before going to the physical examination, our first step is to take the health history of the patient. During the health history, note the patient's color and respiratory rate and level of anxiety. These preliminary comprehensions can be helpful as begin taking the history of the patient. When talking with the patient, keep in mind the three goals of health history. The first one is to establish trusting and supportive relationship, and the second one is to gather the information, and the third one is to offer the information. Okay, let's take the health history of the patient. Do you have any chest pain?
Do you have any shortness of breath? Are you ever aware of your heartbeat?
Okay, let's proceed to the physical examination of the heart. Common or concerning symptoms relating to neck vessels and heart are chest pain, shortness of breath, palpitations, orthopnea and paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea. After comprehensive hand hygiene, you are ready for the physical examination. In physical examination, a first step to estimate jugular venous pressure.
JVP is a measurement of the highest oscillation point or meniscus of the jugular venous pulsations. JVP examination. Firstly, I am checking the capillary refill time. It should be less than 2 or 3 seconds. Examine the both sides of the patient's neck, then turn the patient's head slightly to the left. Since the physical examination is conducted from the patient's right side, focusing on the right side, identify the external jugular vein and find the internal jugular venous pulsation. Look for the oscillation point along the sternomastoid muscle between the clavicle and the angle of the jaw or just posterior to the sternomastoid. Internal jugular pulsations have a soft, undulating quality, usually with 3 elevations per heartbeat, and 2 of which are visible, and 2 troughs, whereas the carotid pulse has a more vigorous thrust with a single outward component. Internal jugular pulsations are rarely palpable, whereas carotid pulse is almost always palpable. Internal jugular pulsations are eliminated by light pressure on the vein just above the clavicle, whereas the carotid pulse is not estimated by the pressure. The level of internal jugular pulse changes with the position in a avalemic patient. Level drops as patient becomes more upright. Carotid pulse unchanged by position. Finally, the level of IJP usually falls with inspiration, whereas carotid pulse is not affected by the inspiration. Extended on elongated rectangular object such as 3 by 5 card from the meniscus point of pulsation while extending a centimeter ruler vertically from the sternal angle, making a right angle to establish the true vertical and horizontal lines. Place your ruler on the sternal angle and line it up with a vertical line in the room. Then place your card or other rectangular object at an exact right angle to the ruler and measure the JVP of the patient. Normal JVP should be less than 3 centimeters, and here the patient JVP is normal. And next, palpate the carotid pulse. Never palpate the carotid arteries at the same time. Carotid pulse located at the middle to the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Oscillate with the stethoscope. After the palpating the carotid arteries, listen carefully over both the arteries with the diaphragm of the stethoscope. Ask the patient to hold higher breath for a moment. It provides a valuable information about the cardiac functions, especially aortic valve stenosis and regurgitations. Okay, let's proceed to the heart examination. Ask the patient to change the dress. Examination of heart contains inspection, palpation, and auscultation. Let's begin with the inspection and palpation. Stand at the patient's right side. Have the patient remain supine with the upper body raised to 30 degrees. First, inspect the anterior chest, noting any heaves or lifts. None are observed here. At the same time, look for the scars or any redness. Now proceed with palpating the chest wall. First palpate for heaves or thrills using your finger pads. Hold them flat or obliquely on the body surface as you palpate in the right and left second interspaces along the left sternal border and in the apical area. Ventricular impulses may heave or lift your fingers, suggesting ventricular dilations. None is seen here. Then check for thrills by pressing the ball of your hand firmly on the chest in the same locations. Identify the apical impulse. The apical impulse represents the brief pulsation of the left ventricle as it moves anteriorly during contraction and touches the chest wall. Note that in most examinations, apical impulse is the point of maximal impulse or PMI. However, some pathologic conditions, an enlarged right ventricle, for example, may produce a pulsation that is more prominent than the apical impulse. Using the palmar surfaces of several fingers, then for the finer assessments, your fingerprints allowed by one finger alone, palpate to confirm characteristics of the apical impulse. You will note its location, diameter, and amplitude. Identify the location of the impulse, the apical impulse by the interspaces in which you feel it and by its distance in centimeters from the mid-sternal line if you experience difficulty locating the apical impulse. Ask the patient to tip or partially roll on to his left lateral side, that is into the left lateral decipitus position. Palpate again using the palmar faces of several fingers. Now I am going to listen to your heart over various areas of your chest. To begin the auscultation sequence, adjust your stethoscope so that you listen through the diaphragm. Listening in the aortic area at the right second interspace. Note the cardiac rate and rhythm. Normally, the rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute and the rhythm is regular. Identify S1 and S2 in the aortic area. S2 is usually louder than S1. S2 is also usually louder than S1 in pulmonic area. Still listening in the pulmonic area, ask the patient to breathe in and breathe out and try to identify the inspiratory splitting of S2 into two components. The first component A2 is from aortic valve closure and the second component P2 comes from pulmonic valve closure. S1 becomes louder as you proceed down to the third interspace and into the tricuspid and into mitral valve. Now switch to the bell of stethoscope. Listen next along the lower left sternal border in the left fourth and fifth interspaces. Then listen at the apex. I would like to listen to your heart in another position. So could you tip over onto the left side please? Place the patient in the left lateral decipitus position. Have the patient roll part away onto his left side. This brings left ventricle closer to the chest wall and makes low pitched sounds more audible than Then reach the position of apical impulse and place the belt slightly over that location. Tell the patient to sit up, lean forward, exhale completely and briefly stop breathing. After expiration,